it's Chelsa Messenger with Picks and Parlays. We're talking NBA action, the Pistons and the Warriors.
We've got a promo code. The code is SNOW for 20% off the entire site at picksandparlays.net.
Golden State favored at home -5.5. The total is 224.5. The Pistons, of course, coming off that big win over the Lakers, huge underdogs, even though they didn't have Anthony Davis in that one. Blake Griffin hitting 5 threes, and Wayne Ellington had 6 threes. So quite the offensive outburst from Pistons, especially going against a really solid defensive team in the Lakers. Golden State 10-9 on the year, 9-10 against the number. They've already met once this season, with the Warriors winning 116-106 back on December 29th. We've got Lee from ASA here to break this one all down for us. Lee, what stands out to you when you see these two teams meeting up for the second time this season?
Well, I do like the fact, typically I would play like on Golden State in this situation with them off a loss at Phoenix and Detroit off such a big upset win over the Lakers. But the more I looked at the game, the more I liked over in this game. The Pistons have the worst, last in the NBA in defensive efficiency on the road this season. They're 1-7 straight up away from home, so they have not played well when they played away from home. Their games have averaged 231 total points in those 8 road games. Golden State, meanwhile, obviously offense is drives their franchise. Their home games have averaged 225 total points per game. They played 2 games recently at home against the Minnesota Timberwolves, who have very similar numbers to Detroit when it comes to efficiency and pace. And those games ended with 234 and 238 total points. So I can see this being a little bit higher scoring with not much defense being played by either team.
Right. Golden State has been really bad when it comes to rebounding. They allow the second most rebounds to opponents. The Pistons can capitalize on that. That would be a good way for them to attack, I believe. But I kind of went back and forth when trying to pick a side on this one, because the Pistons have been so much better against the spread than they have been straight up. 10-8-1 against the number. And of course, coming off that big win over the Lakers. And I looked, Pistons are 9-3-1 against the spread when getting at least 5 points. But that does not take away from the fact that the Pistons are 1-7 on the road, a little alarming. And then you've got Golden State, who have not been favored in many games this season. Of course, if you saw their slow start to the year, it wouldn't be surprising. But they've only been favored more than 5 twice this season, both against the Timberwolves, and they covered in both. So it's a little tough to pick a side for me in this one. Anything else you would be looking for when it comes to these two teams?
Well, it's funny you mentioned that Golden State is 7-4 straight up at home, and their average winning margin is plus 5.2 points per game. So that is above league standards. And Detroit on the road, as we mentioned, they're 1-7 straight up away from home, and they've got a negative differential of minus 6.5 points per game. So I think Vegas kind of has that number pretty much locked in at 5.5, and I think they probably got a pretty good number there on this game.
Yeah, and if you look at rebounding props, maybe for the Pistons, Golden State coming off a loss to the Suns in which they allowed DeAndre Ayton and Frank Kaminsky to both have 13 rebounds. And as I mentioned, one of the teams that situationally has given up the most rebounds, second to just, I think, one other team over the course of the season. So they've not been good down low, even though James Wiseman has come on a little bit better as of late. Obviously, he's a rookie and he's got a bit of a learning curve. But he's been a little bit better. But unless you have anything else to add, I'm going to wrap it up. Anything else?
Yeah, no, I think we're good. And again, the one thing about the total that I do like is Golden State's the 3rd fastest paced team in the NBA. So we know they're going to try to get up and down in this game. And that clearly always favors an over and a higher scoring game.
Right. Pace is definitely something to look at if you're betting a total on any of these games. Always an important metric because it's points per possession. And if they have more possessions, obviously it's more scoring opportunities. But that's going to do it for our NBA talk here on Picks and Parlays. Great stuff from Lee from ASA. Lee, thanks for joining us.